My name is Vince Yang. I'm the product manager for fitting software and apps. Favorite sound is food sizzling. So I like cooking. The team ran a survey with like almost 300 clinicians. If you had one word to describe your superpower fittings, what would that one word be? In the end, the result is challenging but rewarding. And when I heard the concept, and it's like, this is going to reduce the challenging aspect and let them enjoy the rewarding part. So in the end, that kind of drove our design decisions to kind of show them the details of 3 presets at the same time, so they don't have to go back and forth, to save them a little bit of time so they can focus on their patients, right? So we're gonna make it really easy for them to press the button, and then that's a good starting point. So you have the confidence going into a potentially difficult fitting to know that your patient is almost happy. And then you just do your fine-tuning or adjustments to give them 100%. People with severe to profound hearing loss, their lives depend on hearing aids. So they depend on what we do. And I was there seeing the patients, as soon as we put the hearing aids on their ears, they were like, oh, I can hear the truck outside. I can hear my wife talking in the hallway on their phone, and that's the sound they haven't been able to hear in a very long time. That moment, that was just so good, and this is what we do. And if their lives is made easier by us, then I think that's the most valuable thing we can provide.
My name is Leonard Cornelis. My job title is Manager Hearing System Engineering. I've been at Unitron 13 years. My current favorite sound is listening to my grandson go, "All right," after a loud crash. This is a great place to work. It's a great team. A lot of very smart individuals, very motivated, and also very happy people to work with. Every day is different for me at Unitron. I get involved early on in concepts, features as we're developing the concepts for features. I get into simulations or prototyping of features. To me, the preset idea is a very good idea. This population is particularly challenging to fit. They have very specific requirements or demands about how they want the signal processing to sound. And dividing it up into 3 categories makes it much easier for the fitter to then preset to something that is a good starting point. From the consumer's perspective, what we're really going for is an out-of-the-box, pleasant experience from the very beginning. They shouldn't have to make lots of adjustments. They should just be able to put the devices on, wear them, and be happy. So occasionally we get emails forwarded to us. It's always exciting to see that because it's so rewarding to have a positive feedback about the sound quality.
To save them a little
kill the audio here for a second.
On their patients, right?
Sure.
So we're gonna make it
So what do
really
you want to
easy for
say?
them to press the button.
Hey, it's Laura here. We're live.
I'm Nancy Bunston. I'm a corporate audiologist at Unitron headquarters, and my favorite sound is waves breaking against the shore. So as part of the audiology team, I've been seeing field trial participants and setting them up with the hearing instruments and helping to do measurements and get their feedback. In the field trial appointments I've been in, they've been pretty happy. Some people have said that, I didn't think things could get any better. I didn't realize I could hear this well. We've asked them at the beginning, how long did it take you last time you got your new hearing instrument to be comfortable with it? And sometimes it's been a number of visits, and people seem to be quite pleasantly surprised again at how quickly and easily they got benefits from these hearing instruments. I think we've got another good product that people are really going to enjoy and make things easier for the person helping the patient, and then that makes everybody's lives a lot easier.
Hi everyone, it's Laura McFadden and I'm here at the Apollo Theatre in Kitchener. We are here for the Max Live launch and we are very excited. This is our Master of Ceremonies, Jeff.
Hey everybody, nice to see you.
And Jeff and I are going to see if we can do some interviews with some of the people that are arriving, so stay tuned. We will be online with these interviews shortly.
Yeah, you're not going to want to miss this. It's going to be fun.
My name is Scott McIntosh. I work for the Hearing System Engineering Group at Unitron, and my favorite sound is the sound of a ping pong ball being smacked. I started at Unitron in 1981. I've been involved in a lot of the superpower products. The sound quality will be really, really good. For the severe to profound losses, the features that they're interested in, they want speech enhancement. They want to be able to understand speech. Compared to a previous product, we wanted to have the speech enhancement to the same level. So adjustments were made to various parameters to give speech enhancement to that level. The other thing that they don't want is they don't want a lot of what's called noise canceling. So the noise canceling feature was turned down to match the previous product. We then did listening tests to compare different versions and stuff to make sure that everybody was happy with the sound quality. I mean, this is the whole thing about the nature of our industry, is that we're definitely helping people.
Oh, we're live. It's so exciting. Take it away, Laura.
Well, this is Nicola McLaughlin. She's our product manager at corporate, and so I'm going to give it to you guys so you can do a great interview.
Laura is in charge of our celebrity wrangling, and now we've got Nicola. Now I'm going to get you to introduce yourself with your title, and I've got two very important secretive questions for you. Are you ready? Okay, introduce yourself.
Okay, hi, I'm Nicola McLaughlin, Director of Product Management for Unitron.
Okay, so first question. Of the 4 new core features in Max, which one would you say is the most beneficial to hearing health care professionals and why?
Okay, so of all the new innovations for Max, definitely the new presets are the most exciting. This is a real problem that we know in the market. We've had lots of great conversations with people fitting people with severe to profound loss. We know when they come in, they're worried it's going to be more challenging, and these new presets are going to make that process much easier, more personalized fit right from the get-go, and a more satisfied customer in the end.
Excellent. Now, what I didn't ask you is what are you wearing? I'm wearing Unitron today.
Well, I'm wearing blue. I don't have
Perfect.
Unitron, but blue.
What a fabulous outfit.
Well,
Okay,
thank you so much. Yep.
Ready for the next question?
Yep.
Here it is. All right. What superpower presets defines you the best?
Okay, so from a technology standpoint, it's definitely current. I love the greatest technology that's out there and try to stay as current as I can.
Right.
If I think about it from maybe a more fun lens and my own personality, if you got into my car, you got a high chance of having 80s music playing, so maybe
Come on,
a little more classic or
what's
conventional.
Your favorite 80s tune? Come on.
Well, this is going to be embarrassing,
on.
but probably Luva, Let It Go.
Okay, give us a few lines. Come on, I'm going to
No,
help you. Come on,
absolutely
join
not.
in.
No, I draw the line.
All right, give us another one. I'll help you. Come on, we'll sing. We'll do-
Anything by you two, but you have to sing.
In the name of love, what more in the name of love? Come on, you two now.
No, that's it.
I tried, folks. I tried. I'd like to apologize to everyone around the planet for that singing rendition of you two. Thank you,
Okay,
Nicola,
you're very
much.
welcome.
Appreciate it.
Okay.
Sometimes it's been
All right, we've got a new celebrity here, courtesy of Laura McFadden, our celebrity wrangler. If you wouldn't mind introducing yourself and telling our global audience your name and what you do at Unitron.
Certainly. Hi, my name's David Thornton. I'm the National Sales Manager here in Canada.
Okay, David. Now, you ready for your big secret question, which you may have seen prior to this interview? Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. Okay. I understand you recently made the move to Ontario from Alberta. What superpower preset do you think best represents Albertans and or Ontarians?
Well, that is an interesting question. It's a very broad spectrum to cover. I think that in Alberta there's a lot more farming than there is here in Ontario, so I would suggest maybe more of a current process for more noise reduction. Having said that, the farmers also like to hear around them as well, so maybe a little bit more classic. However, it's a good job we have 3 presets to determine in a clinic, so we'll see.
Did you see that little plug? You got that in there exactly. All right, you ready for the next one?
Absolutely.
Okay, here it comes. What superpower preset defines you the best?
Well, I like to think myself as quite current, but as I age, I think that becomes more and more apparent that I'm really not. I like 80s music, so I would say I'm probably a little bit more conventional than current at this point in my life, and eventually I'll become classic.
There's a lot of 80s musical theme running through this live stream, if you haven't noticed. Thank you very much. We really appreciate that.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. Mr. David Thornton, National Sales Manager. Thank you very much. Really appreciate it. All right, the buses are arriving. We've got another celebrity here on the red carpet. If you wouldn't mind, just introduce yourself to our global audience. Tell us your name and what you do at Unitron.
Sure, absolutely. My name is Darren Fari. I'm the General Manager at Unitron Canada.
All right, here we have a question that you may or may not have already rehearsed. Nudge, nudge, wink, wink. How would you describe Unitron's position compared to the competition when it comes to superpower hearing instruments?
So Unitron's had a pretty great legacy of superpower products going back to our US 80 product, which is way back from the 80s. So we have a good reputation for it. More recently, we haven't launched one in a few years, so it's been a little bit of a lag, but the Max product that's currently out there in the market is still doing okay for us in Canada, but we are really excited to get the new Max product, and we're really excited for the live event today to learn a lot about it.
So this is a thrilling time for everybody at Unitron.
It is. It's always a thrilling time. Every 6 months we got new products coming out, but this one particularly because the Max product that we've got in the market's a little bit older, and so to get something like this in this category at this time is exciting for everybody to jump on and get out there.
So fair to say there's a lot of anticipation involved here this morning.
Well, this event is a new thing for us, so it's really exciting. We've never had something like this before, and people are really excited about seeing what it's all about and launching it in a different way.
Well, I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Okay, now we in the global audience want to know what superpower presets defines you the best.
I'd like to say classic, but probably more current. I'm all about the bells and whistles and technology. So, to try out new things and to see what the new technology has is probably where I would be.
Are you a gadget guy?
Very much a gadget guy, yeah. I mean, I'm always looking for excuses to bring gadgets home because I need an excuse for my wife to approve it. And so I come up with crazy reasons why we need new lighting or new technology. It doesn't always work, but I do like to come up with excuses for it.
There you have it, folks. Darren Fari. We really appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks, appreciate it.
Drove our design solutions.
All right, our audience is starting to really fill up. We've got another celebrity here on the red carpet. If you wouldn't mind just introducing yourself and tell us what you do at Unitron.
My name is Teresa Zakrzewski, and I work in the Research and Development Department as a project manager.
Oh, fantastic. Now, let me ask you, did you bring the bus over with everybody, or did you drive yourself over this morning?
None of this. I would say I was just sitting comfortable in a bus.
Oh, very nice. Okay. Was everybody singing, "Hey, bus driver, speed up a little bit"?
Sort of.
All right. So I would like to ask you this. We've got a secret question for you. In your words, what makes Max the preferred superpower hearing solution?
I would say the superpower solution is high output and a gain of the hearing aid, and I would say excellent performance of a hearing aid, natural sound quality, thanks to Tempus features.
So you think it's those qualities combined that may give you a little bit of excitement going into this launch compared to the competition?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I think end users, patients who will be wearing the T-Max, they will greatly benefit from the Tempus features and a high output and a clean performance of the hearing aid.
We had another celebrity on here earlier, Darren Fari, and he said it had been quite a while since you guys have launched something like this. It must be very exciting.
I'm pretty sure lots of clients are waiting for this product.
So the timing is perfect. All right, final question for you, Teresa. What superpower preset defines you the best?
I would say current. I would love to take advantage of what is new coming, exciting. But in the same time, I appreciate what is already available and what is good for me.
There you have it, folks. So we've got a nice mixture of current and classic, and let's see what our next celebrity says when we return in just a moment.
My name is Rosa Rawson, and I'm the marketing product manager. And my favorite sound is listening to 80s music. I learned a lot about severe to profound hearing loss working on this project. Once I understood that this group encompasses all different ranges of hearing loss, I understood why there was some angst in both sides, from the hearing care professional or from the patient, in terms of getting the right fit. It came down to, we need to make this easy. And I remember Linda in our US office saying that out loud in a kind of a strategy meeting, and it just kind of went like a light bulb went on. And I think we kind of ran from there. So Life Made Easier is, we're just saying it like it is. That's exactly what we're trying to do for everyone. It's our live launch event. We haven't done one at Unitron before, where we digitally stream our launch across to all our global partners. There's anxiety for sure, and excitement. That will definitely be the milestone.
Okay, now the theater is really filling up here. We've got our next celebrity. If you wouldn't mind, please introduce yourself and tell us what you do at Unitron.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ara Talassian. I'm the VP of Research and Development. It's a great pleasure to be with you all today.
All right, so here's your question. Ready? Now, this is a bit of a surprise question now. In your opinion, what were the determining factors that led to the investment in the development of a new Max?
The super patter category is a very special category in our industry, and it is the people that really need the most help. So we're very, very compelled ultimately to help folks that have a severe hearing loss. Sound quality in this category is a very difficult thing, and I really think that Max is a big audiological victory for us, because the sound quality in the superpower category, which is very difficult to achieve, is really coming quite a ways with the Max product. So movement of the sound quality of the product has really been the mantra of why we've put forth this next generation of Max. Our validation has gone really well with real live patients. People want to buy it and don't want to give it back, and that's, as we all know, a very good sign for what's coming.
I'll let you in on a little hint. There might be a live patient interviewed later in the show, but I don't want to let the cat out of the bag. Okay, next question. One word that describes the new Max. If you had to sum it up in just one word, and I know that's tricky to do.
Do I get 2 words?
All right, we're going to give him 2 words.
You're very generous, Jeff. Fantastic sound.
There you have it.
Fantastic sound.
Fantastic sound. All right, and what superpower preset defines you the best?
I guess I'm a more old-fashioned individual sometimes, so I guess the classical preset is right. However, this is a matter of preference, and the great strength we now have in the software, it's very, very easy to set these presets. So really kudos to our audiological development team in Kitchener. This is really movement in the right direction for this category, for the superpower category. It's very easy to set a preset in the fitting software so that it satisfies the particular end user of the audiologist. So great movement from an audiological point of view. Audiologists are going to love this.
And the key words here, fantastic sound. Thank you very much for joining us today.
You're going to promise me that you're going to keep repeating that all night, right, Jeff?
Absolutely.
That's fantastic.
Fantastic sound.
Thanks, everyone. Great lunch.
seated.
morning, everybody. Oh, come on, you can do better than that. Good morning, everybody. Is this a great venue or what? When's the last time you were in a theater like this? This was me in the theater last time I was there. How many people have done that? Oh, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me, excuse me, pardon me, pardon, yeah, excuse me, pardon. I don't want to have to do that to you this morning. Unitron made sure that we had lovely spaces between the rows, and we're thrilled to have everyone here this morning. My name's Jeffrey Knight. I'm your host, and it's an exciting event. We kicked it off already with some red carpet interviews. We went live around the globe. That's right. So you're here in our studio audience. Did you think you were going to be in a studio audience when you got that email to your desktop? But you're also part of a larger global audience, as I mentioned. We are streaming this live across the planet. I'm going to show you our agenda and tell you how things are going to roll out here in just a moment. I'm happy to say that the only commercials this morning are going to be from you. So that's exciting as well. Okay, so in terms of our agenda, lights, camera, action, we're going to kick things off with your VP of Global Marketing, Lalika Beck. Then after Lalika, we're going to have Leah Vucic will dive deeper into our superpower with Max Talk. And next, we will welcome the Manager Fitting Software Development, Greg Dice, up here. And we've got the chairs set up for this. Is going to be a one-on-one interview style. And then after that, we're going to, and this will be somewhere in and around the 10:40 mark. For those of you who are, really watching your watches, Dr. Dawn Hayes will join us with a couple of field trial participants. So that'll be very exciting as well. And then we're going to open it up for some questions. I know you're going to have some questions. And the fun part of this is we're going to do this, and I don't want to date myself here, but we're going to do it a la old Phil Donahue style, where Rosa will be running around the audience with a mic, and it'll be great to watch her get her exercise for the morning. And then right after that, we are going to roll credits, and we'll get everybody back on their buses, and we'll continue the celebration on your way back to HQ. So, without any further ado, our first presenter is passionate about developing and delivering the most personalized hearing solutions in the marketplace, where the consumer experience is paramount. She holds a master's degree in international business, and in July 2017 was named the VP of Global Marketing. Please help me welcome to the stage Lalika Beck.
Hi everyone, good morning. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, Jeff. I've been looking forward to attending this, what I think is a really innovative launch event for a long time now. Really, really exciting to be here. And as Jeff said, the reach of this event is not just to us here in this room, but well beyond this room, around to different parts of the world. I just want to firstly congratulate and thank the team who put together this event. Pam and Andrea were a key part of it, really focused on creating and designing exceptional experience. So let's give them a round of applause. And of course, creating exceptional experiences is part of our DNA. We've been at it a long time, and experiential launch is part of our strategy. But of course, a very key part of the experience is the innovation itself, our technology innovation. And today, as you heard from Jeff, you are going to hear about our very new superpower, Max, which really is going to make life easy for both our HCPs and our patients. And it's truly going to deliver on our promise of personalized hearing with its 3 different first fit starting points. So I'm really excited that we're going to hear about that today. It won't just be the technology, of course. You're going to get a behind the scenes look at the research and development process. You're going to hear from a couple of great patients who've been wearing our Max Superpower for some time now. We're also doing something different with the live streaming, as you've heard. Why are we doing it now? I think that as you know, over the last year, we've decided to shift our strategy a little
It's still about delivering an exceptional experience, but really trying to deliver it through technology. And now we have access to live streaming technology to really stretch our reach beyond our customer-facing people. So a couple of interesting things about live streaming. Facebook Live says that people or viewers are likely to watch for 3 times longer live footage than they will recorded footage. And they're more likely, or 10 times more likely, to comment on live footage than recorded footage. So that's really interesting. According to Digital, which is a multimedia company, 30% of the people who watch an event live streaming will then attend that same event in person the following year. So that's really good to know as well for us. So we are going to test the receptivity of live streaming at this event with Unitron in this industry, and then we're going to share those results with you. We're also going to create a how-to guide so you can learn how to create a similar event with live streaming in your own market, possibly to support the launch of our next platform. Does that sound good? Good. Okay, before we get to the main part of today, I'd like to tell you a little bit about our logistics. We want you to get social. The team has created some really great hashtags here and handles. So we want you to get out there on your social channels and share some content about this event. We haven't quite reached our launch date, so I ask you that you don't share all the detail, but just a little bit of teaser information. Use these handles, at Unitron Global, that great hashtag, Life Made Easier. So go ahead and do that. I'm really looking forward to seeing what you share and hearing about your experiences, and those of you who are joining us online as well. Before I hand over to Leah, our main stage presenter, I'd also like to really thank the people who really came together to develop Max. It takes a lot of energy. The process starts months, years before we get to this point. And there's so many of you involved, both from the marketing side and the research and development side. But in particular, I'd like to thank the lead launch team, Leah, Rosa, Nancy, and Teresa from the R&D side. So let's give them a round of applause. So I know superpower is, or severe to profound, is a smaller category in our markets, but I really think these are the patients who need us most. So I'm very excited with you to take this innovative product, a very important part of our Flex ecosystem, out to those consumers. Let's get started. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, moving right along. We've got to go into our movie trailer voice, and you'll see why in just a moment. We've got a stellar lineup today. I'm stealing a line from the old MGM studios where they said we have more stars than they have in the heavens. Our next presenter brings a unique market perspective to product management team. She has clinical audiology experience, as well as having been with Unitron for 8 years, working at Unitron in New Zealand and Unitron Canada in various technical, support, sales, and training roles. She understands the challenges faced by hearing healthcare professionals and is passionate about supporting them in delivering solutions to patients that exceed their expectations. Please help me count down for Leah Vucic.
My name is Daria, and my favorite sound is the wheezing part of laughter, like when you're starting to cry and you don't have any sound anymore, you're just wheezing because you're laughing so much.
Do you have a little bit of trouble hearing that one? Let me just try that again.
My name is Daria, and my favorite sound is the wheezing part of laughter, like when you're starting to cry and you don't have any sounds anymore. It's just wheezing because you're laughing so much.
Isn't that the best favorite sound you've ever heard? The wheezing part of laughter. I love it. So the difference between the first and the second clip, they were identical, by the way, but the difference was that in the first one, it was being processed through a hearing loss simulator designed to emulate a severe to profound hearing loss, similar to what Daria here would experience without her hearing aids. A bit of a challenge, right? So like Lil mentioned, severe to profound is the smallest segment of the hearing impaired population, representing about less than 10% of patients who come into a clinic. We could describe the hearing loss of the other 90%, the majority of patients that come into the clinic, as things getting a little dimmer. They start to have some damage to their outer hair cells that causes some of the sounds to be a little dimmer. But severe to profound patients are unique. Not only do they have damage to those outer hair cells, in fact, they have some complete loss of the outer hair cells, but they're also getting damage to their inner hair cells, which cause things to get dim, but also it distorts the sound. So that's the 24-hour-a-day challenge of people with severe to profound hearing loss. They're unlike other types of hearing loss. And for hearing healthcare professionals like myself, way back in the day, there's no greater challenge and no greater opportunity for impact than to help people with severe to profound hearing loss, people like Daria. But there's one other important distinction between the majority of people who come into a clinic and people like Daria. And that is that the majority that come into a clinic, they do so with some level of reluctance, often asking their hearing healthcare professional, can I just get by a little bit longer without hearing aids? But severe to profound is unique. They would often say, my hearing aids are a part of me. And they would say this for many reasons, probably 100 different reasons, but I'm going to cover 4 of those reasons with you today. The first reason is that they're highly reliant on their hearing aids. They can't simply get by without them. They rely on their hearing aids for all aspects of life, for work, for play, for school, for relationships. They need their hearing aids to function. They're full-time, all-time users, and for the most part, this has been true for their lifetime, which makes them the most experienced hearing aid users, often having worn their hearing aids for as long as they can remember. The average age of a first-time hearing aid user for most people that come into our clinic, do you know what age it is? I think I heard it. 70 years old. This is not true for people with severe to profound hearing loss. Most of these patients have worn their hearing instruments for life. And that means that they know precisely how they want to hear. Not just what they want to hear, they know how they want to hear it, leading to really high hopes and high expectations for their technology. They need their hearing aids to function for them, and they know what they want, and they need a lot of support from their hearing healthcare professionals as well as from their hearing instruments, and they just haven't completely found it yet. For any of us who've worked with these patients, we know that they often have really strong opinions, right? I'm hearing some giggles from the patients in the front row. So really high expectations. They are willing to put in the time and the energy that it takes to get what they want. In fact, one of our recent field trial participants, she explained to us that in order to get fully satisfied with her new hearing aids, it took her 27 visits to her audiologist for fine-tuning and adjustments. So this speaks to just how motivated these patients are. Unlike the reluctant patient who comes, maybe dragged in by their significant other, severe to profound patients are not like this. They're highly motivated. They're going to do whatever it takes to hear better. So these 4 words, reliant, expectations, experienced, motivated. These are the words that we use to describe and understand what makes this population so unique. But this is through our lens and not through the lens of the patients themselves. So we asked them. We asked our field trial participants to use one single word to describe the experience of getting new hearing aids. And here's what they said: anxious, fear, necessity, hopeful, excited. It's a really emotional experience of getting new hearing aids. I think this quote summarizes it beautifully. High hopes alongside great worry. But there's a whole other side to this. It's not just the patients. The severe to profound patient also represents a really unique challenge for the hearing healthcare professionals who are working with them. I came to understand this challenge firsthand when I graduated with my audiology degree and started working in clinic back in 2008. And one of my very first patients had severe to profound hearing loss, and she needed new hearing aids. The ones she'd been wearing, they were over 10 years old. Do you know what I fit her with? Think back 10 years for anyone who's worked at Unitron for more than... No, I fit her with the brand new Unitron 360 Superpower BTE. She liked them. They were great, right? So she liked them at first, but they didn't quite sound like her old hearing aids. She wanted them louder, and then she wanted them softer, and then she wanted more bass, and then she wanted less bass, and they were great on the phone, and then they weren't great on the phone. And it took me 8 months of regular appointments with this individual to get her to a point where she finally liked her hearing aids. And then I left clinic. They were completely different reasons. But I joined Unitron. And over the past 9 years as a trainer and audiology support manager, I've seen this scenario play out over and over and over again, this same situation. Superpower fittings appeared to be the most challenging fittings for hearing healthcare professionals. So here I am, 10 years later, after fitting that first set of 360s, as the product manager for our newest Superpower, coming full circle, if you will, launching our new Superpower BTE. I wanted to understand and confirm that the experience that I was having and what I was seeing in the field was in fact true. So we went out to over 300 or almost 300 hearing healthcare professionals and asked them. We got them to describe in one word what they thought of fitting Superpower hearing aids. So here's what they said. 3 words really rose to the top. Challenging, frustrating, but interestingly, also very rewarding. So obviously there's a lot going on here from both sides, right? For hearing healthcare professionals, these fittings are really challenging. They can be frustrating, but they can also be some of the most rewarding fittings of your career. But for patients, everyday tasks as a result of their hearing loss may not be the easiest. And getting new hearing aids is really exciting for them, but can also be really hard. So when it came to developing a new Superpower product, we asked ourselves, how can we make life just a little bit easier? With Max, life is made easier. For the clinicians in the room and live streaming on Facebook, fitting Superpower is now super easy. And for patients, there's never been a better time to make the switch to new Superpower hearing aids. So Max is making life easier with 3 game-changing innovations that will lead to easy fittings, easy personalization, and easy convenience. This isn't just another Superpower product. This is a product that we've designed to change the way that everyone thinks about the Superpower fitting experience, making it easier all around. We want it to be less challenging and more rewarding. So let's talk about these easy fittings. With Max, we've recognized the diversity of needs and preferences of this unique group of individuals. We wanted to improve the first fit satisfaction and get more smiles from the first fit. No more 27 visits or 8 months of appointments. Let's get more smiles from the very first fit. Again, for any of us in the audience or online who knows the joys and trials of fitting a superpower product, we know that identical audiograms can and often will result in completely different fittings. Same audiogram, different fittings. But our fitting software only ever accounted for one standard first fit. So one person might like the sound straight amplification, just pure power and not much else, whereas somebody with the same audiogram might prefer the sound when all of the advanced features are engaged and active. And then another patient might like things somewhere in the middle. But again, we never accounted for this in our software. We always just offered one choice. So with Max, we're introducing our superpower presets. We're giving hearing healthcare professionals a choice between 3 first fit starting points designed to accommodate each individual patient's individual preferences for sound, how they want things to sound. So we've got Classic, for those who prefer little to no signal processing and no directionality. They want that straight sound, straight amplification, and just pure power. And we've got the Current, for those who prefer the latest and greatest, all the bells and whistles, including all of our advanced features in signal processing and directionality. And then the Conventional, for somebody somewhere in the middle, with moderate signal processing, just that kind of midpoint. So what I'm going to do next, I'm going to play for you a clip from 3 of our field trial participants. You're going to hear the sound through the hearing instruments that Jen, a Classic, would hear, Daria, who you heard earlier, a Current, and Joe, who you're going to hear from a little bit later, a Conventional, the sound that they heard. Now keep in mind when you're listening to this, these hearing instruments are designed for people with the unique hearing loss of severe to profound. So for a normal hearing audience member, it might sound a little bit different to you. So just pay attention to the differences between the presets.
The show is a sellout. The weekend is always busy. That's why I got our tickets in advance. Everyone seems to love the show. I think they got... The show is a sellout. The weekend is always busy. That's why I got our tickets in advance. Everyone seems to love the show. I think they got... The show is a sellout. The weekend is always busy. That's why I got our tickets in advance. Everyone seems to love the show. I think they got...
So keep in mind, though all 3 individuals had very similar audiograms, and we can't know from looking at their audiogram what sound they're going to prefer. So we gave them the choice, and all 3 had different preferences. And now, with TrueFit 3.7 fitting software, we're able to accommodate and match these preferences with a simple click of the mouse.
That was easy.
So the second way that we're making life easier with Max is with Flex, easy personalization, giving patients the confidence that they're making the right choice with the Flex that only the Flex experience can offer. So we're the Flex company, right? Right? Yes. We believe that every patient deserves a personalized hearing solution. There's no one-size-fits-all approach to hearing healthcare at Unitron, right? Right. So this is true for all patients, regardless of their hearing loss. But for patients with severe to profound hearing loss, it is particularly true. They're highly experienced and have high expectations, and for them, Flex is really special for a number of reasons. Flex trial. Clinics don't tend to stock superpower hearing instruments on their shelf to sell. Patients are highly reliant on hearing aids. Can you see the problem here? They need a hearing aid, they come into a clinic and there isn't one for them. Flex trial ensures that there is always, oh, and I should mention, sorry, that loaners in clinics, where's the audiologist in the room? Loaners in the clinic tend to be a bit of a mixed bag of whatever's been donated over the years. So not great technology, tends to be a little bit older. So Flex trial ensures that each clinic always has the latest and greatest superpower product on their shelf, on hand, and ready to go when a patient needs it. And wonderful that it happens to be Unitron that they'll reach to first. And once the patient is wearing them, the clinician can then use Log-It-All to really understand the patient's individual and personal listening lifestyle, so then use that evidence to support a personalized technology recommendation. And I mentioned before that these patients really know how they want to hear. They're experienced. So patient ratings is perfect for this group. Get them involved, get them making ratings so you can take personalization to the next level and make sure that you get a solution that works for them. And then finally, when you've got the best perfect solution for each patient for today, Flex Upgrade gives the confidence that technology will always have their back no matter what happens in the future. So the Flex experience for the superpower patient is really perfect. And finally, the third way that Max is making life easier is by bringing rechargeable freedom to everyone. I said before that Max users are full-time, all-time, lifetime wearers. So Max is really bringing rechargeable freedom to the patients who really need it the most. They need their hearing aids to last as long as they do. So Max Rechargeable lasts all day long. And with more gain and output than any other rechargeable hearing instrument on the market, we're bringing rechargeable freedom to even an entirely new category of hearing aid users. So Max bringing the easy convenience of rechargeable in early 2019 is making life easier again for this group of patients. And of course, we can't forget that Max is driven by our incredible high-performance Tempest platform. Tempest offers a significant upgrade in platform performance for superpower patients compared to our old Max product. Compared to our old Max product, you can see up here, it's faster, it's more accurate at identifying speech, it has a higher input dynamic range as well as an extended bandwidth. All of these things combine to provide a noticeable and significant improvement in sound quality and clarity right out of the box for each individual patient. That's the power of Tempest. But we didn't just make Tempest louder or more powerful. We've optimized it for the unique needs of the individuals with severe to profound hearing loss. We've optimized Sound Conductor. So we've taken Sound Conductor and we've increased the amount of speech enhancement to put a stronger emphasis on speech. We've also pulled back on the amount of noise reduction to give a stronger sense of environmental awareness. So the overall goal of Sound Conductor SP is to provide superpower patients with a more realistic to them or expected for them balance between audibility for speech and background noise. So that's Max. The power of Tempest with 3 innovations that deliver easy fittings, easy personalization, and easy convenience. And all of this easy is because of these 3 features that are only available from Unitron. The superpower presets, our Flex ecosystem, and the revolutionary rechargeable superpower product. So I'm really proud of what Max has to offer to our customers, as well as to the individuals who are going to be wearing it, the people with superpower hearing loss, or severe to profound hearing loss, sorry. And I think you should all be really proud of what we're about to launch to the market too, because ultimately that's what we're all here for, right? It's not just for the popcorn. We're here to make life easier and better for all patients with hearing loss, but particularly for those who need it most, for people like Daria. So I'm going to let Daria have the final word.
It's really hard to live in a world that's auditory. Like the hearing world is not always friendly to those who are deaf and hard of hearing. So having these medical devices and the advances in technology really help them be part of the world. They're not so fluent in sign language or doesn't, prefer text over phone call. Like it definitely helps being part of the bigger portion of the population.
That's for you. Give yourselves a big round of applause. In her own words, you really do make life easier, and I'm glad you're applauding yourselves. Now, we've got a very exciting update. The numbers are in. We just spoke to Bell and Rogers, and all the hubs are overwhelmed. We almost broke the internet this morning. That's amazing. Huh? And because it doesn't have to have anything to do with the Kardashians, right? Here's our new hashtag. We're trying to break the internet. And some really good news we just heard from Health Canada. Apparently popcorn is fantastic for breakfast. It's just really good, healthy snack for you. All right, well, moving right along, we've got a very exciting guest coming up here momentarily. And I should tell you that after very long and arduous negotiations with his agent, we were able to get him released from his superhero movie contract just for one day so that he could be a guest on our show. Let me read you his bio, and you can see this on the Internet Movie Database as well, but I've got it right here on my 3x5. As a manager fitting software development, our next presenter is always thinking about ways to make TrueFit better. Armed with an honors Bachelor of Computer Science degree from Wilfrid Laurier University, he uses the knowledge that he gained there to guide and empower his entire team to help them all continue to produce innovative and effective fitting software solutions. The photo on the screen was selected by him because he always wanted to be a superhero. Please put your hands together for Mr. Greg Dice. Welcome, Greg. Do we have a microphone for Greg? You're all set. You're laved up. The lavalier, as we call it in the biz. Greg, relax. I know this is going to be a hard-hitting interview. It's going to be a little 60 Minutes style. So I've got the first question here for you. Now, I introduced you just in terms of your name, but could you tell us what you do at Unitron, how long have you been with the company, et cetera?
Sure. Yeah, so right now I'm the manager of the fitting software development team, as you mentioned. So we produce the TrueFit fitting software. And I've been at Unitron for almost 5 years, and mostly as a developer, and just recently transitioned into this new role.
Congrats. And how's that going so far?
It's been a good adventure, yeah.
And this is fairly exciting, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. I'd say so, yeah. Exciting is one word, yeah.
Yes. It's doing great so far. All right. What was your first impression when you heard about the Superpower preset, the whole concept? What was your first impression of that?
So the concept itself sounded great. Had a really clear goal of providing a different starting point for first fittings, especially for these challenging to fit patients. From the technical perspective, it definitely sounded a bit complex, and it wasn't immediately clear how it would be accomplished, but that's kind of what our team does. We love a challenge, so
right.
Exciting too, yeah.
Step by step, you love a challenge, and here we are today. And we're getting ready to launch. So again, congratulations. Sure. Tell us a little bit more about your role in terms of the overall contribution to the Superpower preset development.
Sure. So from the start, I was involved in some of the brainstorming around what features should be modified by these presets that we have, and what strengths these features should be set to, what was possible, what wasn't possible. After that, I was involved in some of the early design and implementation around how the feature would work, before the rest of the team kind of took over with the bulk of the implementation itself. And then I was involved in working with product management to define how the preset selection would be presented to the hearing healthcare professional, and when was it appropriate in the fitting software to present them with this ability to choose a different starting point for their fittings.
Wow, that's a big challenge. So what makes the Superpower presets different from what you've seen before in the TrueFit?
Yeah, so as Leah mentioned, it's the concept that's totally different from what we've done before. So typically, I guess the use of our software is to configure one aspect or feature of how the hearing aid performs at a time. Whether that be adjusting the strength of the adaptive features using the sound conductor configuration, or maybe adjusting the gain model a little bit, doing some applying a different fitting formula and then applying some fine-tuning based on that. With the presets feature, it takes a step back and considers what the patient's preferences are at a bit of a higher level with respect to how much signal processing do they like. Do they like a more current approach to signal processing, or the more classic approach, or somewhere in the middle, right? And so it makes the hearing healthcare professional's life a little bit easier to give the patient a great first fit by recognizing that there is a difference in the patient's preference.
Are we going to cut down on Leah's, what was that, 27, 27, how many was it?
Yeah, well, I assume if she says that it will work that way, then that's hopefully mission accomplished. We'll find out, I guess, but that's certainly the goal, yeah. One more aspect just from the development side, the scope of the feature is different on the development side of things as well. So typically when we add configuration for a new feature to our software, it's configuring one set of related parameters at a time. But with the power presets, we're really, by allowing them to select one thing and then modifying like a whole bunch of features at the same time, you can imagine that's a little more complicated. And then we had to take into account flex as well. So when a patient chooses to upgrade their hearing aids, the set of available features changes and new features become available. But what the patient is looking for from those features with respect to their signal processing preferences probably doesn't change. Okay. So we had to make sure that the preset applies to the newly available features as well as the features they had already on their hearing aid.
Did everybody get that? There's a lot of complicated engineering that goes into that. Fantastic. So how will Max make life easier?
Right, so Max will make life easier for patients that are most impacted by hearing loss by providing them with all these great features we've been working on as part of the Tempest platform, at the same time as giving them the ability to preserve the aspects of their old fittings that they really like. It'll also make life easier for the hearing healthcare professional by allowing them to easily select a different starting point for their different patient based on that patient's individual preferences.
Fantastic. Greg Dice, everybody. Thank you, Greg. Thank you very much for that. I really appreciate it. Wow. That wasn't that hard-hitting. That wasn't Mike Wallace, right? And he didn't ask to storm the camera or turn it off. He stayed with us the whole time. Thank you, Greg. You know, we really appreciate all the innovations that he just described and everything that you do technically, scientifically, et cetera. But our next guest is going to show you how this all gets tied back into the real world in terms of emotions. I'll tell you a little bit about him. He's an active gardener, which means, unlike me, he knows the difference between a ficus benjamina and a dandelion. He's got a secret recipe for salsa. He uses those hot peppers. And by the way, he keeps that recipe buried under his hosta in the garden there, just to the right of the irises, so if you ever want to get your hands on that. He's a member of the audiology group, and he helps represent the voice of the customer within the organization. He's a clinical research director who's been at Unitron for 16 years. He's got a master's degree from the University of Buffalo. He's got a PhD from the University of Cincinnati. Please, if you will, help me welcome Mr. Don Hayes. Dr. Don.
Show you the bright side, you know what's on my mind, so let me show you tonight. Oh, what is this all about?
Okay. Have a seat there, Linda and Joe, please. So nice to see you both again. It's been a long time. What I would like to do is introduce you to Linda and Joe. They're a couple of our field trial participants over the course of the most recent MAX field trial. But I'd rather have them tell you more about themselves than me talking. So Linda, if you could go first, just tell us a little bit about yourself. You can take the mic.
Okay.
I got a mic.
Bonjour, my name is Linda Drouin, and I've been wearing a hearing aid for several hearing aids for over 44 years. And I started wearing them when I was 23 in both ears because the ear, nose, and throat specialist said he couldn't perform a third stapendectomy because I was pregnant. So so the audiologist fitted me with a hearing aid in each ear. And then in 1989, unfortunately, after a bout of bronchitis, I lost the complete hearing in my left ear, and then just wore the hearing aid in the right ear up until now.
Thank you. I'll just give that to Joe. If you want to tell us a little bit about yourself.
Sure. So I'm Joe Sonny, and I've been wearing hearing aids since I was 14 years old. Started with one, should have been wearing two, but they were expensive. And I went to 2 hearing aids when I was 25 years old, and this month I will be 62 years old.
Great. So can you tell us perhaps a little bit about how Max has made things easier for you?
I was really amazed during the field trial that something that I didn't think was possible, which was to be able to have clarity of conversation and awareness of my environment at the same time. That was the biggest challenge for me in the past with hearing aids. I would force a program to suit my hearing situation. And with the Max hearing aids, I was actually really amazed that I could listen and hear ambient sound and my environmental sound and enjoy hearing and being aware of the environmental sounds, while at the same time being able to have the clarity of the conversations and my immediate sound needs. So I went from switching all the time with my other hearing aids to just allowing Max to be on automatic, and it was a delightful experience.
Great. Linda, can you tell us a little bit about your experience?
Well, for me, I think you saw it on the screen, it was a big relief because I didn't have to strain, I didn't have to say pardon me consistently. I was able to attend meetings. I'm a very busy person, even though I'm retired. I still work. I supply teach at the French high school, and I didn't have to hand my little microphone to the students, even though some of them enjoyed talking into it. I could hear my grandchildren, 6, 5, and 3 years of age, so sometimes they mumble, so it was a lot clearer. And I think that my husband is very, very happy about it because I can hear the water running from the tap into the kitchen sink and into the bathtub. Just a few weeks ago, while I was putting the dishes away in the dishwasher, I said, oh my God, that's the water running in the bathtub. I better go and turn it off. Otherwise, we might have another flood, and Bruce might have to fix the ceiling in the basement for a 3rd time. So, also, I must say that it makes intimate moments a lot more pleasurable, because if I don't wear my hearing aid, I don't hear a thing unless it's an explosion.
Can you, as long as you got that, can you just tell us a little bit about your experiences in the past of being fitted with previous hearing aids? And feel free to throw in wrecking the ceiling below the bathroom as well.
Yes, well, not being able to hear well, even though you have a powerful hearing aid, you still hear everything. Like, I've gone into restaurants and I've said to my husband, I'm sorry, we can't eat here because it's too loud. Even though it would be the best restaurant recommended with the great food, I wouldn't be able to enjoy it because I would hear everything. And also, when I lost the hearing in the left ear, I was fitted with the microphone type with the wire that goes to the right ear, the right hearing aid. Well, wearing the coats and that, it always got tangled. And then I had the Phonak amplifier that you put on the table. It worked well, but it didn't work well in a restaurant because it amplified everything. So there were difficulties with higher hearing aids. This one, as you said, Joe, you don't have to do a thing. It just changes automatically. And I must say that I enjoy the music. I travel quite a bit to the cottage. It's over 6 hours, and my husband doesn't talk a lot. So we like to hear music in the car, and I can hear the words to my favorite songs. Now I have to change from 15 to 9 or even 8. Now that's amazing. And my girlfriend now can hear the music because in the car she'd have to say, Linda, you have to turn the radio down. It's too loud for me.
Cool. Joe?
Yeah, the car. I love listening to music in the car, and that was really a delight to know that I didn't have to switch my program, to a specific mode to enjoy the radio. I just got in there, and the automatic mode just made things sound, really, really good. Because during my career, I moved to different cities. I got to experience a lot of different audiologists, and I tell you from firsthand experience that not all audiologists are created equal. There's some really good ones, and there's a whole bunch of not really good ones. And I really, I had, and some of these people became lifelong friends just because of the relationship they worked with me. But those earlier hearing aids that I had, I remember first trying digital hearing aids when they first come to the market, and the switching of the programs was really distracting, where you walk into a different environment and then that hearing aid would be the thing that got your attention rather than what you were engaged in, or the situation where just because the sound went up a bit and then the hearing aid would adjust. And I built the habit of forcing the program manually, even though it was a digital hearing aid, and that became a habit. And my audiologist would work really hard with me to get each individual program to work really well. Another past experience that was really difficult for me was the telephone. My hearing is, and my job is such that I have to talk on the phone. I work with computers, and I need hands-free. And I can tell you that Bluetooth-enabled telephones were brutal. And I managed to get a really, really decent Bluetooth telephone that was paired with my hearing aids from a different manufacturer, but I was forced to use that phone all the time. What I liked about it was, you put it up to the ear and then it would put the sound into both ears, which was amazing because the curves in my hearing loss are different in both ears. So now I'm getting a real natural voice on the phone. But the problem is that the only phone in the house that worked well. And if I was in another part of the house and the phone rang, I would force my wife to answer the phone because I couldn't deal with it. And that's very frustrating for your spouse. With the Macs, I was able to use every single phone in the house. And I have to tell you, it might sound like a trivial thing, but it's really a big deal. Ask my wife.
We did. Oh, just hang on to that. Can you just talk in general about clarity of speech with Macs and environmental awareness, that sort of thing?
Yeah, absolutely. So I didn't think it was possible to make it better. I've been going through these different itinerations of technology and the change, and of course, you know, I'm switching my hearing aids about every 5 years or so, and they got a little bit better, and then all of a sudden, with the set that I had before the field trial, that was, I thought, as good as it's going to get. And so again, like I said, I walk into different hearing environments and I would pick the program that suited that environment. And I did really well. I could go into a restaurant, switch it to a specific program, and hear probably better than a lot of people that were sitting around the table, because you know, they don't have the ability to knock out some of the ambient sound. So it was good. With the Max experience of just going and letting the technology deal with that, I wasn't getting that jarring switch between programs. It was a smooth switch. A lot of times I didn't even notice the transition, although I'm really keen, like I really do notice those things. Hearing is so important to somebody like myself, and so you're very aware of the sound. So the car experience, amazing. Going out and just walking into a restaurant, not having to fumble for where's, you know, that remote so I can discreetly switch the program, and that's a big deal. So when the technology was handling the ambient sound and still giving me the clarity and the fidelity of the conversation, that was nice. And I dare say that probably reduces a bit of stress as well too, because you know you're always trying to make sure that you're doing well when you're engaged in conversation with someone. So outside, hearing birds, hearing just the rustle, you know, of the leaves in the tree, that's a real treat. People take that for granted. You really shouldn't, because it's a marvel. And so when you start hearing things that you don't remember hearing before, because you know you switch it so that you're only hearing this much, that's giving you a better quality of life, in my opinion, and it just makes it a lot nicer.
Thanks. Is that your experience as well?
Well, as you said, Joe, hearing the wind whistle through the trees and just sitting outside, like at the cottage that's 6 hours away, with just nature around you, it's just beautiful. It can even be mystifying at times because, oh, I don't remember hearing that. Also, life is easier too in the house because, as I said, I can now hear the water alarm next to the sink. Even though it's really loud, I couldn't hear it. I remember when we were building the addition to our house last fall, one of the carpenters rushed into the house. I was chatting with him, said, why is he rushing into the house? Well, he could hear that water because I had left the tap running in the sink. I went to chat with him while the water was running into the sink. I said, oh my goodness, I said, but with this hearing aid, I can hear that water run. I can hear the smoke alarm. I can hear the alarm from the microwave. And a few weeks ago, I asked my husband, what's that ringing? He says, that's your tablet telling you that you have another email. So those are all sounds that I'm discovering, and that's just fantastic. Also, just life is easier. The first thing I do in the morning is I put on my hearing aid. I have it in a little dehumidifier. And the last thing I do at night is I take off my hearing aid. My hearing aid is part of me. It's like I have to put on my panties, I have to put on my bra, and so on. I have to put on my hearing aid, but it goes on before the panties and the bra.
Okay, I'm almost afraid to ask any more questions of you. I do have one last question.
Okay.
When Leah was speaking, she talked about Flex, which is an approach where you could actually try a hearing aid at no cost to you for a period of time, and also transmit back to the clinician what your experiences are with that hearing aid before you buy it. How do you feel about that sort of an approach? I know it's probably not something that you've ever done before. It's always been buy the hearing aids and then come back in 3 weeks. How do you feel about the whole Flex trial thing?
I think that's really good, especially for people who aren't not too sure if they want to wear a hearing aid, if they have the money to spend, but if they can try it out, then they can really see that it's worthwhile. It's money well spent. I've also had a bad experience. As you said, Joe, there are good audiologists, and there are some that are not so good. And I did have a frustrating experience returning one hearing aid a few years ago. So the fact that I would be able to try it out before I would have to pay for it, instead of then asking for the money back because I don't like the hearing aid, it's not working properly. To me, that's a relief.
These days, all the bad audiologists become directors of clinical research. So, Joe, is there anything you'd like to add to that?
Yes, I think a program like that shows tremendous amount of confidence in your product, and I think that's an amazing thing to do. I could tell you this, that when I was only wearing one hearing aid, it was because of the cost. And when I was 25, the audiologist that was working with me said, you know, why aren't you wearing two? And I says, well, I can do with one. He says, okay, well, we'll go through the whole thing. We'll fit you with one. And then we'll just try a second one, see how it goes. And when we put the two hearing aids on, and I went through the hearing test, it was like having an out-of-body experience. I was so amazed that suddenly the cost was no longer a factor to me. I just thought, what am I thinking? You know, I'm only, 25 years old at the time. I got a lot of life to live, and I'm not going to go through life handicapped like this. So to allow someone to go out and wear them for a period of time without the pressure of the office, I mean, there's a lot of pressure, right? And this is a big purchase. To let somebody go out and experience them in that fashion, I think it goes a very, very long way to developing a loyal customer, because it shows some trust, it shows a lot of confidence, and then when that person goes back in and and you have that opportunity to say yes or no, I think that you immediately up a lot higher in the yes category than you would be. Walking out after paying a lot of money and being disappointed is a really ugly thing, especially because it's such a big purchase thing. So that's wonderful. I'm thrilled that you're doing it, because I think you're going to get a lot more customers that way.
Thank you.
May I add one more thing?
Sure.
As I said, a relief. I'm 68 years old, and I was not looking forward to the next few years. I refinished a beautiful antique rocking chair, but I was also afraid that I would be spending a lot of time in that rocking chair just looking at the grandkids, looking at my adult children have conversation, and not be part of it. But now, the rocking chair is there, but I don't sit in it that often. I take part in the conversations, and I'm looking forward to many, many more years of conversations with the Max hearing aid.
The Max hearing aid from Unitron, right?
Yes. From Unitron. And I asked you earlier what Unitron meant, and I, being French Canadian, I see uni, unit, uni, and on, we. We are united to make a better hearing aids for profound and severe hearing loss people.
Thank you. Thanks, Joe. Thank you, Linda, very much for coming to spend time with us. We greatly appreciate it. And I think now we're going to step down. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Don Hayes and Linda and Joe. Please, one more time for those very heartfelt testimonials. That's very... It's really inspirational. It gives you even more reason to get out of bed and work so hard like you do every morning. It's that time now where we're going to open it up for Q&A. I've got the first question, and it's an important question, suffice it to say. And that question is, Joe, when you get dressed in the morning... oh, no, never mind. Just thought we wanted some parody there. First of all, we should tell you that we've checked in with our, remember we almost broke the internet earlier. We want to say hi to all our friends in the United States. Hi y'all, or all y'all. Hope you're doing well. And we've got everybody tuning in from Germany. Wie geht's Ihnen heute? Guten Tag. Was machst du? I was thinking of a German expression. I'm no linguist, but after hearing your testimonials, Linda and Joe, I was thinking about that expression that they say in German, which is alles klar. And I was wondering if it had anything to do with the entire process of what we're talking about, how things are clearer and being able to listen and hear, and what a difference that makes in people's lives. So thank you to all the folks also in Benelux for tuning in. So we've got a lot of people online tuning in. And stay tuned as we open it up to our live studio audience for questions. Remember, this is fun because Rosa, we're going to run her off her feet right now until she's sweating and... Okay, next question. All right. So who's got the first question? Don't be shy. We just heard some very intimate things from Linda and Joe, so you at the very least, you can ask some questions. Oh, running over here. Rosa, there she goes. See, this is going to be fun. Excellent. All right.
So we're asking you the questions?
No, please. No, you could, but you don't want to know what the answers are.
My first question is a bit of a comment. I was surprised when Leah played the three preset fittings that for me, the last one was the one that sounds the best. But from what I understand of the field trials, the selection of the participants varied across the three presets. So I just was wondering if maybe Leah or someone could comment on that to the normal hearing person, there's a clear favorite, I think, but that for severe to profound, there is a variety amongst the three settings.
I'm so excited that I got a question.
Yeah, exactly.
I watched Miss America on the weekend, and it was the interview part, so I was like, I hope I get a question so I can answer it like Miss America. No, that was a really good question. Actually, it's interesting. Which one did everybody prefer when I played them? Is that a consensus? Everybody preferred 3? Interesting. Oh. Second one. So the field trials were really interesting because there was a really it was spread. The preference was spread across all 3. There was the strongest preference was for the one in the middle, which where's Leonard? Oh, he just walked out. Early on, Leonard and I had kind of predicted that was what people would like the most, but there was a lot more people than we expected that preferred the current approach with all of the latest and greatest. And based on my experience in the field and my experience working with audiologists, I didn't think that people would like that as much. We thought that more people would like the classic approach when in fact that was the least preferred of the 3. So I think it just speaks to, I think I had a slide on it, that beauty is really in the eye of the beholder, and different strokes for different folks, I guess. Everybody has different preferences, and we never accommodated for that before, and this just makes it easier to give people what they expect.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you, Leah. That was great. Thank you, Mr. Vari. That was a great question, by the way. Now, don't let his excellent question scare you from asking another excellent question. Who else has? Oh, yes. Okay, excellent. Oh, you didn't? Oh, boy, if only you were way over there, Rosa would have had to run all the way over there.
Well, I can run over.
Yeah, okay.
When the audiologist sets up the field trial or the test with their patient, how do they determine which one they should choose? Do they play them all, or is there a way for them to tell ahead of time which would be best?
Oh, who's gonna field that one? Oh, yeah. They're arm wrestling to see who's gonna answer the question right now. That's right, Dawn.
Mr. America.
Flex.
Flex. There you go. Flex. Perfect. Yeah, so when we do validation, we don't come into it with the idea that we already know which of the 3 presets a given individual is going to like, because if we did, there wouldn't be much point in doing validation. So instead, we did round robins where different people tried the various different 3 presets. And initially, we adjusted the presets to see if there was a way of making each one of them a little bit better as a starting point. Then after we had done that, we went back through, got another round of people, and we tested the presets again to make sure that we had a good range of results. When we looked at the results afterwards, you really couldn't look at one person and say, this is the best thing for you. So that's the reason for the presets in the first place, because when you are in a clinic and you don't really know what somebody prefers who's got a very strong preference for one type of sound quality, it's useful to be able to quickly go from 1 to 2 to 3 and get in a ballpark fast, because you don't have to make a ton of adjustments to get there. This way you can just hit one button and move from one to the other and get close, and it minimizes the amount of time that you spend in fine-tuning. So we didn't come into it thinking we knew the answers. We came into it thinking we didn't know the answers, and in my case, left exactly the same way. It's okay?
Excellent. Okay. I think that's all the questions we have, unless someone wants to venture one more. All right, so cannot thank you enough for being here this morning and for you for tuning in live on this live stream. We want you to know that if you came in late to any portion of this, not to worry, because it will be available on the U Learning module. So you can check back in and watch this entire presentation. So without any further ado, I have my producers Ashley and Pam yelling at me to wrap it up. Once again, I'd like to thank all of our guests for being here today. You were all fantastic. All of my red carpet interviews prior, thank you to all of you as well. And all the very best to you at Unitron with this very exciting new launch coming up. And that is it for now. We're signing off. So long. Good night, depending on where you are tuning in from. And have a great day for you here back in Canada. Thank you. Goodbye.